All right. So last week, I talked about Charlie Kirk a lot. And it's just so interesting. I saw not a lot, I don't want to say that. I saw a few people make posts on their YouTube page, on their Twitter pages, that am I canceled now because I defended Charlie Kirk? Did I defend Charlie Kirk? Listen, I didn't defend anything. I just said he didn't deserve to die. And I stand by that. For having a difference of opinion, for going to college campuses and discussing things, you don't deserve to die for that. And I think we get overblown on a racist is an overused word. So when people say Charlie Kirk is a racist, I'm going, he's got a lot of black people defending him. If that's a racist, I don't know what your term of racist is. Well, I do think after now, the past week, I tried to educate myself. I'm not a political guy, never will be. It doesn't interest me like that. But I think the beauty of podcasts is you can discuss things. You can come back the next week and you can elaborate and you can say, I learned this and I changed my mind on this. So with Charlie Kirk, what I've seen and read, one, I think a lot of people have fallen for clickbait. I think like I said last week, I've seen the same 3 clips and people cut it up without giving us the full context of what he said. So here's where a lot of people got fooled. One, the gun law thing that I said I didn't agree with. And I still think he could have worded that different. But now I understand what he was trying to get across. Once I saw the full speech, I saw he said, with cars, people are going to get in car wrecks. People are going to die. But you still want people to get driver's license. You still want people to have the ability to drive because it's a form of transportation and it's just a way of life. But what sucks is with that, there's going to be car wrecks. People are going to die. So is it worth it to have a car, knowing that every time you get in a car, you're quote unquote risking your life? And then when I saw that, and that's what he compared the gun law to, and I think he could have worded different and the delivery could have been different. But once I saw that, I go, oh, okay. It's not the whole, he just came out and said, I believe we should have guns and people are going to die because we have guns. That's worth it. We got to look at the whole, what he really said. I go, oh, okay. Do I think he could have worded it different? Yeah. I think he could have didn't have to say that about people are going to die because of guns and it's worth it to keep it. So, but that's me. Okay, that was one. The DEI and the black pilots. When he said, if I get on a plane, I see a black pilot, I don't know if I really feel like that pilot is the best pilot for the flight. Now, here's where I agree. Here's where I disagree with him. He also said in the NBA, it's 70% black. What if they came out and said, look, we got to have a certain amount of white people in the NBA to make this even. So that means there's going to be qualified black people that didn't get the job just because we got to meet a quota. So when he said that, I go, oh, okay, that kind of made sense. Only difference is sports across the board. When you talk about the pros, now let's get out of high school, elementary school and stuff. Your talent is what's going to dictate if you're on the team or not. With pilots, this is where I think Charlie didn't ever put himself in a black person's shoes, so to speak. With pilots or any job field, really, black people, sometimes they didn't get the opportunity, or how can I put this? They didn't get, quote unquote, a fair shake, so to speak. So I don't know the answer to the airline issue with the pilots, but I see what he was getting at, if that makes sense. So when I saw that whole context, I go, oh, okay. I do think sports is performance-based, whereas some jobs, and not just pilots, but jobs in general, I think sometimes if you've got a company that has 90% white people and it comes down to a black and white person that have the same, let's say, grades, status, pedigree, I think more often than not, if the company traditionally has hired white people, they would hire a white person over a black person because that's who they're comfortable being around. So I see that. So I think Charlie never took that into consideration. I hope that made sense. I hope that made sense to everybody. So I saw where he was getting at. I just think the way he said it was very clickbaity, and it was very not seeing it from a black person's perspective, so to speak, or realizing what black people have gone through in the past, trying to get hired on certain jobs. So there was that. And here's the thing with Charlie Kirk, right? Very polarizing individual. And I saw a college kid, some school, they had a Charlie Kirk rally, and he mocked it. He like went up and acted like, it's Charlie Kirk. And then he went up on some statue and was imitating him dying, getting shot. And it was disgusting. It was ugly. It was disgusting. And my thing is, that kid was a black kid. How would he have felt if somebody was mocking George Floyd when he died? Probably would have been upset. And I think it goes both ways. Like the social media and bots and a lot of politicians, they act like they want, especially politicians, they act like they just want this. We just want to be one, when you really don't. You really don't. Because if you were upset at George Floyd's death, but not upset at Charlie Kirk's death, then what are we doing? Both were disturbing, the fact that I saw them both. And I just felt bad for both. Felt bad for both gentlemen, George Floyd and Charlie Kirk. And I think you can't mock one. I saw a lot of people mocking the George Floyd death. You can't mock that and then be upset that people are mocking Charlie Kirk's death. I'm like, I can be upset. I can be disappointed because I didn't mock either. I feel bad for both dudes. I don't think either dude deserved to die. So and these people are acting like, well, Charlie Kirk, how can you act like he's some hero or some martyr? And I'm going, well, you can say the same thing about George Floyd. We can't sit here and sit here and be like, why? It just is what it is. Some people catch the public's attention and we gravitate to it. And it takes over all our news airwaves. It takes over all our social media. And it leads to people rallying. And it gets ugly on one side. And the other side is like, this is our guys. So that's the one thing I noticed. Like, after watching a lot of speeches on Charlie Kirk, and this is not a comparison, but one thing the things I didn't like about Charlie Kirk, I'll say this. I didn't like it how he used a couple celebrities' names, and he said, this guy, I'm not going to say who he's talking about, or a couple guys he talked about. He act like he's such a hero, such a good dude, but he's cheating on his wife and da-da-da. I go, okay, why even go there? Why even go there? I'm just saying, if Charlie's a Donald Trump guy, would you say that about Donald Trump? So I'm like, leave that alone. That wasn't necessary. And don't act like you're better than somebody because of cheated. As a guy that wasn't in marriage, that I did cheat, that was wrong. But that I don't think that makes me a terrible individual. I don't think it makes people just want to be like, I'm not fucking with Gary because of that anymore. Same thing. So I thought that was pointless when I saw him say that. And it was kind of low. It was kind of a low blow. It's almost like saying I'm better than you because. So you can't say you want this country to be equal and everybody the same, but then you're attacking somebody for rumors that they're cheating on their wife. I'm going, what does it do with anything? Especially if you're on politics or you're trying to rally a country. I mean, we all know. You think athletes are bad? Everybody I know in politics, them boys is wild. Them boys is wild. I've been to the Republican National Convention. I've been to the Democratic National Convention. It's a fucking freak fest. I'll put it like that. Just like I've heard about the Olympic Village after them 20 to 25-year-old athletes have been pinned up and they've been no sugar, no carbs. They've been working out and then the Olympics are done. They're ready to fuck. That's what nobody talks about. They're so ready to fucking bend over some girl and the girls are ready to just get pounded because they're pent up and they're in their 20s. They're ready to go, boy. I've heard the Olympic Village is wild. Just like I've seen it. I've been to the RNC. I've been to the DNC. I've been to the parties. It's wild. I'll put it like that. It's just wild. They partying hard. So, for me, anybody that's just trying to uplift whatever their cause is without preaching violence, without saying I want to hurt people, without, sorry about that. I think it's such a touchy subject. You know what I mean? It's not cut and dry like that. It's almost like when I heard Louis Farrakhan speak, right? I saw Farrakhan on TV a lot. And when I was younger, I thought, oh, this guy's very divisive. I thought this guy was like, whoa, he don't like white people. But, I grew up in a trailer park. I got the adults in my life filling my head with stuff. And then when I became an adult and I became a free thinker, I could think for myself, I was like, oh, Farrakhan was brutally honest with America's history. And he just wanted it better for his people. And I didn't agree with a lot of stuff, not a lot, but I didn't agree with some of the stuff Louis Farrakhan said. But some of the stuff when I could get outside myself as a white dude and really listen to what he was saying, it's just like some ghost on the wall. And I could listen to him. I could be like, oh, I can see where he's coming from there. And then when I got to meet him, I was like, oh, could have been more polite. Nice, soft-spoken. His son came up to me, said he liked my stand-up. I met him on the Tom Joyner cruise on the boat. Just an unbelievable, nice guy. And then when I saw him speak on the boat, I was like, oh, now I get it. So he knew his audience. He fed that audience. And that's how he became as big and powerful and polarizing as he was. So now you got this Charlie Kirk who is on the other side of things, that different than Louis Farrakhan, but is polarizing, well-educated, knew what he was talking about, and he just was having discussions with people and going to college campuses and really, but he wasn't belittling people. He wasn't, when he went to these campuses, he took the kids' questions and he went back and forth with them, but he never said that was a stupid question. He never said, what are you doing? Like, even when kids got tongue-tied, even when he would get them, he never said, see, don't you feel stupid now? He would never do anything like that. So with that, I don't think he was a racist, but I do think he could never step outside of being a white guy and step inside the shoes of being a black person. So, but yeah, I just it wasn't right for him to die. So same thing if Farrakhan ever got assassinated, can you imagine? I wonder if these people that are, upset with Charlie Kirk, would they be the ones attacking gloating because Farrakhan died, but you're upset that Charlie Kirk died, and vice versa, both ways. So it's similar. It reminded me of, my dad is a big Trumper, right? And I remember when Trump got in office the first time, he just went after, reposted something about Michelle Obama, and it was like, we finally got a beautiful first lady, and somebody posted the worst picture of Michelle Obama. Like, she was eating, her mouth was like this, and something. And they're like, you call this beautiful, or something like that. It was just, instead of just enjoying Trump winning, he went and attacked Michelle Obama. And I remember I was talking to him at the time. I don't talk to him right now, but I was like, Dad, why would you post that? I was like, what does the first lady have to do with anything? If they would have did that with if somebody would have did that with Donald Trump's wife, you'd be all like, how could they? So, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I never understood that. So, yeah. I hope that made sense. I was kind of rambling a little bit, but, I'm all for just, I'm all for free speech as a comedian, obviously. And I just feel like we are letting social media, we're letting the news divide us, and they're almost like you have to pick a side. No, I don't. I ain't got to pick no side. I ain't got to agree with a lot of things Charlie Kirk said, but I don't think he should have died. And let's get into the shooter, right? Shooter's from a 2-parent home. White dude, dad was a Trump supporter. Parents have been real assets to society, law enforcement, everything else. And then here comes this kid, gets radicalized. And I don't know if he was in love with a transgender. I've heard so many different stories. I don't know what's real or not. This is all I know. You can't control crazy. And I don't care what background you're from. I don't care where you grew up. There's just going to be crazy motherfuckers out there. And we can't control it. So when people are like, I just want us all to come together. Yeah, but there's crazy people. And they come from single parent homes. They come from orphanages. They come from 2-parent homes. They come from well off. They come from broke. They come from Europe. They come from America. There's just crazy motherfuckers out there. And this dude was crazy. The dude that shot Charlie Kirk was crazy. The dude that stabbed the girl in the neck on the Charlotte train, he crazy. There's just crazy people out there. And you can't control crazy. You just got to be on alert. You just got to hopefully you don't run into these crazy people and they decide to come after you. I had a friend of mine, Kim Glass, Olympian. She came on my podcast a couple years ago. She was downtown LA. Some crazy homeless dude threw some like wrench and right in her eye. Almost lost her eye. Cut her, knocked her out. Motherfucker was crazy. That's all. There's no reason we're crazy. So, we can do all this talking. How can we come together as a country? Look, in the end, what happened? A crazy motherfucker shot Charlie Kirk. I don't care what his reasons were. I don't care how he was radicalized. He's crazy. And I hope he never gets out of jail. And I hope he gets locked away, and I hope he gets a death penalty. Because he's crazy. The dude in Charlotte, he's crazy. I hope he never gets out of jail. If they want to do death penalty, fine. But don't put either of them ever back on the streets in any form of circumstance. Because they're crazy. And if you're crazy, you're probably going to do something crazy again. So, yeah, enough about that.